Hi friends, welcome to another episode of the Becoming You podcast where we talk about the complexities of adulthood. On this podcast, we talk about everything and anything from finances to relationship to friendships to career to faith. We discuss everything and anything adultish, adulthood. Think about it. This is the podcast for you. I'm your host, Bukola. To the returning listeners, thank you so much. Thank you for never leaving me. I love you. And to the first time listeners, welcome to the podcast. Kindly remember to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube so you get notifications when I drop a new episode. Like, share, and if you're listening on Spotify, kindly remember to follow the channel on Spotify. Thank you. So there was this time when I and my friends were conversing about childhood memories, childhood traumas. A friend of ours who is now a therapist was saying some things like, hurtful childhood memories, when not properly addressed, actually comes back to hurt us as adults. She mentioned something I found really interesting. She said, as humans, we have the capacity to lock up memories. Like if something happens to you and you find it really, really hurtful, then you do not want to remember it. Then you push it deep into your subconscious. When she was explaining this thing, I was like, Kinik, we'll gibberish together. So like what she's saying. And I remember arguing with her vehemently, like that most of us don't even remember the things that happened to us as kids, and there's no subconscious anywhere. Everything is here unknown to me. At that time, I actually had a couple of memories that locked up in my subconscious. I had memories from childhood, memories from my teenage years that would be hurtful to me, that I've locked up in my subconscious, that I've told myself so many times that it didn't happen and I was overthinking things. And on this episode, I want us to discuss childhood traumas and how they affect us as individuals. There are some questions I think we need to ask, like, do childhood memories that we feign to forget actually come back to hurt us? Do our childhood traumas, our childhood hurtful memories contribute into making us who we are? And in a society like ours, when nobody talks about trauma, how do we then handle our childhood traumas? How do we confront them? How do we move past them? So in a nutshell, on today's episode, we'll be talking about negative childhood experiences and how they leave a scar in our lives and how they slowly shape us into becoming who we are and our attitude to life. Before we dive into the conversation, how are you? How are you doing today? As for me, I'm all lit up. I'm lit up. I'm excited. I really don't know why. I don't know what's exciting me. I don't know what's making me happy, but I just feel excited. I feel satisfied. I guess it's the joy of the Lord. I officially started attending this Afrobeat dance class about 2 weeks ago. It has been a bittersweet experience. The first time I went, it was all good. We were taught this choreography. At first I missed some steps here and there, but I was able to blend in. Then last week's session was really a flop. That's how we're told to participate in a dance battle. And how your favorite podcaster flopped everything. Like I don't know what happened to me. I already rehearsed my steps. I actually felt I understood the assignment, and when it was time for me to dance, I did not remember any move. I did not remember anything. I was stiff. I was frozen. Till today, I've been trying to remember the music they played for us or the song I was trying to dance to. I can't remember. It was kind of discouraging, to be candid, but that's why I'm in the dancing school here, to learn how to dance. So I'm not giving up. No retreat, no surrender. We go again this week. Wish me luck, friends. Now let's dive into the conversation of the day. Right before we dive in, let's hear what these amazing people think of the adulthood phase.
Adulthood is responsibility.
Adulthood is complicated.
Adulthood is growth.
Adulthood is maturity.
Adulthood is being independent.
Adulthood is stressful.
Adulthood has been confronting.
Adulthood is draining.
Adulthood is decision making.
Adulthood is resilient.
Adulthood is overwhelming.
Adulthood is fun and adventurous.
Remember, I'm not here to demonize this phase, but to say it as it is. Recently, I was thinking about my life, my journey as an individual and how my personality has changed over the years. And I noticed that some specific hurtful incidents that happened to me while I was a child have actually remolded and reshaped my personality. At some point, I didn't remember that some of those things actually happened to me. I started remembering most of them recently after I started thinking deep about some certain things to understand where they were actually stemming from. And I realized that there were just so many things that have contributed into making me this very reserved person. While I was just thinking in retrospect, I remember how I used to be as a kid. I used to be very outspoken, very bold. I had this high level of confidence, and most importantly, I used to be a very, very good dancer. I know people don't believe me, especially my friends that are listening right now, but come with me, just follow me, you understand at the end of the day. I used to be a good dancer. I might not have the moves or the perfect moves, but I wasn't that child that would shy away from dancing, or that child that would be afraid to move their body to the beat. But you know what I discovered happened along the line? I internalized a lot of negative things that were said to me when I was a kid. I'll specifically state that my body now experience contributed to this me that I have right now. I was in boarding house for 6 years. When we're talking about bringing up kids here to be who they want to be, without trying to curb them, I'll say my parents tried to help me safeguard my confidence, but they were not always with me. They were not always wherever I was, especially boarding house. I was there alone for like 6 years, so there was just so much they could do at the time. I remember something that happened to me years ago. I think I was about 8 to 10 years then. I can't really remember, but I was in primary school. My mom took me for this birthday party. It was a 10 years old party for like a second cousin or something, a distant relative. And when we got there, the MC, that's like what's MC? Master of the ceremony, I guess. The person in charge of the ceremony, the coordination of the ceremony, the guy came out and the guy was like, who's going to pray for us? The opening prayer to kick off the ceremony. And immediately I raised up my hand. I was like, I'm going to pray. I learned how to pray early. I led the prayer. And shortly after returning to my seat, the guy said, okay, let the dancing competition begin. After the MC called for people to like participate in the dancing competition, I rushed out again. I remember what I was wearing. I think I was wearing this flowery yellow top, alter neck, and this trousers, yellow too. I was dancing the Shakira dance, the whining and twisting. I was just having fun. Then after the party, an older relative that was there called me, and she said she wanted to have like a private conversation with me, a child, and she was telling me that I was dancing seductively like a prostitute at the party. She went as far as saying a child of God will never dance like that, and I was being a hypocrite by praying, then rushing out to go and dance. That was the last time I remember ever having the boldness and audacity to dance publicly. Funny thing is, I did not understand the weight of that conversation. I did not understand the impact that conversation was going to have in my life. In fact, I didn't even remember it for a very long time. I did not even attend parties again, except Owambe, like Nigerian wedding parties, Yoruba parties. I can still skill through dancing at Yoruba parties because you just komole. I can do that. That's my go-to dance anytime, any day, even in the church. I took the words she said to me I think my parents began about this for the first time because I never had a conversation with them. I felt like I had betrayed God, so I couldn't even have the conversation with anybody at the time. Besides this very remarkable incident, there are other incidents where something underneath has had like similar effect on me. Growing up, I always complained that I talk too much. Thankfully, I have not lost my ability to talk, but their remarks had an impact on me because now I am very reserved. I'm extremely reserved. In fact, I'm not that person to randomly start up conversations with people, but I get to just express the talkative part of me, or let me use my parents' term, the lawyer-like part of me when I'm with my friends, like close friends, when I'm talking on the Becoming You podcast. And when I'm just with people I'm comfortable with, I get to talk. You're still like talking about childhood traumas. Another phase of my life is the secondary school phase. I spent 6 years in boarding house. Don't ask me about it. It was exhausting. The 6 years I spent in boarding house were the longest 6 years of my life. I went on look cuts for the first time when I got into GSS1, and my dad, not having any form of barbing training or certification, just takes his clipper and barbs skin for me. He barbs skin for himself too anyways. But while he's barbing the hair, he does the combined job of a barber and a hype man. So he's bobbing my hair and he's saying things like, my Gwani Darego, my beautiful daughter. He says that a lot. And when I check the mirror after getting the haircut, I don't see Gwani Darego. I don't see the adjectives it's using to describe me. They tried on their part as parents to keep my confidence level high, but there was just so much they could do, like getting into school. People just say funny things about the head, and at some point I started losing confidence in myself, and the way I carry myself began to change. I stopped taking pictures. I hated taking pictures because I just felt like I wasn't going to look beautiful in the picture anyway, and I hated looking at mirrors. For like 7 years of my life, I hated seeing my reflection. That's all through my secondary school and a year after my secondary school. It took a whole year after secondary school to actually get over it and pick myself up. And aside from that particular experience, I think one other thing that made me hate secondary school boarding house in general were the seniors who were bullies. They were very, very mean and wicked. Reflecting on how secondary school was, I can't help but wonder, like, how were kids so wicked? How did little children have so much wickedness in their hearts? We were all children. What made another person or another child feel they should be referred to as a mini god? I was 9 when I got into secondary school. So people that were in higher classes, maybe like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, we were really just children. Teenagers, children. And, they were just mean. People were really mean to me. I can remember always crying to my parents, I don't want to go back to that school, please, I don't want to go back. And my dad would always take me in. They felt I was exaggerating things and I was just missing them. So they always take me there. And now my dad is always like, you turned out fine. You turned out fine. And funny thing is, because I turned out fine, my sisters too attended boarding house, and my younger brother is currently in boarding house. To do things a bit differently, I try to talk to my brother. I make him feel so comfortable, like, oh, you can talk to me if you're being bullied. It's not a sign of weakness. You can let me know if any senior is doing anyhow, if anybody's collecting your things. I would just tell mommy to probably communicate with the right authority, or get him out of the school. I just make him feel so comfortable because I understand how important the 6 years of his life is spending in the boarding house is to his life in general. But talking about turning out fine, it was a struggle for me to actually turn out fine. I had to hold on tightly to who I knew I was. However, kind of affected my attitude to life, and there's some things I currently battle with, like constant self-doubt, imposter syndrome, the fear of not being enough, my inability to take compliments. I have a problem with taking compliments. I'm humble to a fault. I just feel like, oh, we're not supposed to take compliments. And there was a time in my life when I was very, very obsessed with being the best in the room, and thank God I've actually dropped that attitude, because the kind of rooms I'm getting into right now, but I still always try to do my best anyways. But that brings me to the other side of the coin. Well, childhood traumas have had a lot of negative impact in my life. There are also some positive things, positive attitudes I was able to develop. My childhood traumas have helped me to constantly push myself. I've come to understand that I can actually do anything I set my mind to. I'm just always ready to go for it. I'm not too scared to go for things. I firstly go after my dreams, after my goals. I'm strong-willed. I have a mind of my own. And, just thinking about everything, thinking about secondary school, thinking about my primary school, thinking about everything just reminds me of how far I've come as a person. And it reminds me of like my journey, how my journey has been so far. However, it's not always like this for everybody. Childhood trauma is very, very harmful. A lot of people are still struggling with the trauma. A lot of people have not even had the courage to confront what they went through as kids. They've lost their confidence. The things that happened to us where we were kids have gone a long way into impacting the adults we have actually become. In that sense, what I'm just trying to say is children are human beings too. They have memories, and most importantly, they have emotions. They have the ability to take in everything you say to them. Everything you say to a kid, everything you do to a kid is like a seed planted in their hearts. It's like a seed planted in their minds, and it germinates, it grows into making them who they are going to be. So let's be mindful of the kind of words we say to children. Let's be mindful of the kind of way we act to children. Training children is actually a collective responsibility, and I'm not talking about those ones that they used to do, that they will start gossiping about how a child is following a boy, this one, that one. No, I'm not talking about that. Our generation should actually put an end to gossiping about children. It doesn't make sense, but learn to correct them with love. Let's just understand that we can do everything in our capacity to make sure like the kids we have around us, the kids we have in our life, don't go through the kind of things we went through. The children actually do not forget things. And to us adults that are currently dealing with our childhood traumas, I pray we find the strength we need to confront them and to move past them, so we are able to raise our heads up in confidence. I have great news before we round things up. To spice things up, I decided to introduce an unsolicited opinion section to the podcast. Yay! So the unsolicited opinion section entails us discussing and chit-chatting about hot, trendy topics. So basically, we pick an issue that happened during the week, and a question is formed from it. And from the question, we just give our opinions on the issue. For this week, we'll be talking about a video I saw on X. In this video, a child was being bullied by another child. The bully actually slapped the other girl multiple times in the video, and thank God for social media, the matter was escalated and is currently being addressed by the right authorities. So who should be held responsible in a bullying case? Do we hold the bully responsible for being so mean to another child? Do we hold the parents responsible for not training their child well enough, or for not helping their child to see reasons why they should show love to other children? Or should we blame the school for actually not putting measures in place to curb the act of bullying? I posted this on my WhatsApp and I got some responses, so I'll just be posting some of the responses we received.
Hi. So answering the question, who should be held responsible, either the bully, the parents, or the school? Okay, so I've been seeing the video. I've watched the video that is circulating around, but I'm not going to talk about that. I think it's not comprehensive enough for me personally. Instead, I'll be using this series, 13 Reasons Why. It's a 4-season series. And this is not an advert. It's a 4-season series that tells the story of a girl in high school, Hannah Baker. She committed suicide, and it was as a result of bullying from her classmates, basically. She recorded on cassette tapes 13 reasons why she committed suicide. They basically showed the parents' angle, the school angle, and of course the classmates, the bully themselves. It's really tempting to point fingers and say this one person should be held responsible. The truth is, I really think the responsibility should be shared. We can't point fingers at one person. Firstly, I'll talk about the school, right? The school, of course, plays a very vital role. It's like their second home, basically, and they spend a lot of time there. And these people, that's the school, they are basically the guardians of these children while they're away from home. And they have the responsibility to create a safe environment. In Anna's case, basically, the school failed to address the toxic culture. The teachers see these things, they hear things, right? So they would know. And if it is not addressed, it means you're just encouraging that toxic culture. And the bullies, feel comfortable to be able to commit such acts. Talking about the parents now. The parents are responsible of shaping these people's life. They are responsible of instilling values and empathy in their children. And of course, the biggest responsibility should be the bullies themselves. Their actions basically directly harms others. We understand that external factors, so many things can cause them to commit those actions, but they still need to be held accountable.
I feel everybody should be held responsible. Bully, the parents and the school. First of the parents, the girl's parent might have been bullying their help in one way or the other, maybe emotionally, physically, verbally. The bully herself is supposed to be blamed. The school too should have set up a policy that if at all you are found bullying your fellow mate, you should be disgraced on the assembly ground. So by the time you are done like that, if you see someone bullying another person, you'll be able to stand up and talk that no, it is wrong.
Very, very interesting opinions. Very interesting opinions. Anyways, let's keep the conversation going in the comment section. Who should be blamed? Who should be held responsible? The school, the parents, or the bully? And that'll be all for today's episode. Bye bye, and have an amazing 7 days. Bye. Thanks for listening. Catch you on the next episode. Do not forget to live every moment and leave no room for regrets. Remember to follow this channel so you get notification whenever I drop a new episode. Thank you. Bye.